alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I want to play a game.
Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yussef.
And my name is Vania.
And death has come to your little town, Sheriff.
So, hello everybody. We're back with another episode. As usual, we are going to something referred to something Howling Hornets. So, we're, again, it's not going to stop. This ball's going to keep rolling. So, now it's going to be HHN, but now we're going to be talking about an IP that they're using this year, and that is Halloween 1978.
That's
obviously
right.
That's the year that it got released, not the actual title. Please don't confuse it. But
well, considering there's Halloween, and there's also Halloween, so it could be any one of those three.
Yeah. Which one is the three?
So we're talking, because there's Halloween 78, there's Halloween 07, and there's Halloween 2018.
That's a lot of Halloween.
Oh, come on. It's never enough Halloween.
It is.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we're talking about the original, the classic, because that is the IP that we get to experience this year for Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. Don't know if it's also in Hollywood. I can't remember.
I cannot remember either.
I don't know.
Sure, we'll find out some
Somebody
way.
will correct us.
Somebody will correct us. You are
Anyway.
right.
But yeah, so we're talking about that. I mean, it's directed by John Carpenter. It's considered like one of the, in the Mount Rushmore of classic horror movies, I guess. If they make a Mount Rushmore. I mean, you have an amazing director, an amazing soundtrack, and one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable, slasher of all time.
Yeah, I mean, there's also all the classics. There's Freddy, there's Jason, but there you can't be no Halloween without Mikey Myers.
Good old Mikey Myers.
Mikey Myers, that plumber / janitor. You know how it'd be.
/ mechanic.
Just mechanic. That part, but
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, we haven't done a movie review in a bit. Usually what we used to do is we would talk a little bit about the story of the movie. We talk about some of our favorite scenes. We do some grave robbing facts. We talk some great kills, things we liked, things we didn't like, and final thoughts and so on and so forth. And we'll give it a ranking. But yeah, so I don't even know where to start anymore. We haven't done a review in a long time, so I kind of forgot everything. I forgot the format already.
No, yeah, it's been because we've been kind of just talking about what's been discussed and not to do a movie review in a long time. So it's kind of like, refresher / what the fuck are we doing on this podcast? Here we go, on a whim again. On the road again.
On the road again. But yeah, like I said, it came out in 1978. It was directed by John Carpenter and produced by Deborah Hill, who was John Carpenter's girlfriend at the time, so they made it together. And it stars the iconic Jamie Lee Curtis in her first ever role. This is her first ever movie. Wow. Could you imagine,
also very memorable because she does have a reputation. She is literally the daughter of practically the star of Psycho.
Yep, Janet Leigh's daughter.
So you have to continue on the legacy somehow, right? I mean,
but could you imagine just even outside of being Janet Leigh's daughter, can you imagine being, in the first movie you ever make, you immediately cement yourself as one of the most iconic final girls of all time, if not probably actually I would say the most iconic final girl of all time.
Yeah,
outside of Ripley from Alien, but
there's people that also use the category from Nightmare on Elm Street too, but I don't know how true that would be because I mean, when I think of final girl, I think of Laurie.
Exactly. You as soon as somebody mentions final girl, you immediately think, oh, Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well, I'm also starting to think, uh, Sydney Prescott
Yeah.
from Scream 2, because like Scream is also, I don't know, like there's something about Sydney, and we like Sydney. She kind of like she kind of was a little dumb in the beginning, but
She's smartened up real quick.
she smartened up real quick, and she a badass now. So
Yeah.
another iconic.
Yeah, but at the same time, like what I mean is, you would without Laurie Strode, you have no Sidney Prescott.
That part.
Exactly. So like, she is to me like the quintessential final girl.
Yes.
But anyway, and just going into the actual legacy of the film itself, I mean, you hear the music of Halloween, you immediately are like, oh, that's Halloween. Like it's completely it's so simple yet so effective.
Yeah, and the effective every time that Michael Myers is shown or something. I was like, dude.
Oh yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember this was years ago. I used to have like a little keyboard that I would just kind of fuck around with, and every once in a while I'd play the Halloween theme song. And I remember this one
Oh,
time
really?
I was home by myself playing that, and my brother came home from work and he's like, "Yussef," because all he heard as soon as he walked in was just dee nee 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 nee, and I'm like, that would be terrifying to just walk into, like
Yeah.
completely silent house, just that noise.
Fuck that noise. But
Or that's
yeah.
like, nope, I'm going back to work. Yeah, I mean it's and again, and just looking into the whole slasher genre. I mean, sure, there were slashers before that. You had Psycho is kind of considered by many to be like the prototype slasher. But then you've got movies like Texas Chainsaw, you've got Black Christmas, but like this is the one that really like cemented the slasher as a genre. Because I mean, if you look at the next big slasher, Friday the 13th, without Halloween, you have no Friday because Friday the 13th was literally made as a rip off of Halloween.
Yeah.
Like Sean Cunningham directly admitted, he's like, "Yeah, we were just trying to copy off of Halloween because it was such a popular movie."
Cool.
So without Michael, there's no Jason.
It's about the mass murders. It's all about the mass.
It's all about the masked murderers.
Yeah.
It's a new show from
Killers.
Fox, and it's like the spin-off of Masked Singer. It's just mass murder.
Oh God.
They just murder somebody on stage, and they're like, "Oh man, look at the hints. Who do you think it could be?"
Oh wow. But yeah, but with Halloween, you know, it just also, I guess, in a way, cemented a lot of the stereotypes. Don't like babysitters, really hot babysitters, bringing their boyfriend over.
For stuff they
We
shouldn't be
about to
doing.
fuck. Oh wait, there's more. There's a kid that's completely disturbed, and then goes
Wait,
on a
like you
murder
mean
spree.
oh, disturbed or
Ah, no, stop. We're back at this shit again, bruh.
you don't mean like oh wah.
You're canceled.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Anyway, thank God nobody really actually uses the video for YouTube, because I
Otherwise,
just let out
it's
the
yawn.
the loudest yawn. Not the loudest, like literally the most disturbing, like loud, not loud, loud
Just
words
big
escape
yawn.
me. Yes. So yeah. So the premise of the movie, I would like to give you guys a little bit of synopsis, because if you guys haven't seen Halloween, then I can't help you there, fam. Um, little Mikey Myers killed. I think it was the sister.
Yes, Judith.
And it's like, so Michael killed his sister, and then they're like, "Oh my God, this child is disturbed," and then they want to lock him away, kind of thing. But then that's when we have the glorious little opening, and then of course, um, Michael Myers like goes after teens. Obviously, I mean, not without a purpose. He goes back to the original house he was
Yeah.
born in and whatnot, or raised in, and then he goes off on a killing spree, and then that's where we meet the heroine and the final girl, and the constant battle that never ends because it's just a
Because
never ending
money.
cycle and stuff like that. So because Lori and Michael, and he can't die by fire apparently.
Nope,
So
nothing kills. It's
nothing
pure
kills
evil.
him.
I mean, he's just an engine of evil at this point. Nothing can take him down. Apparently,
If he's just like a mechanic plumber, just give the guy some gas. That's all he needs. The
I
whole
just
plot is
I
that
just
he needs
love.
gas.
Oh my god! I love that whole theory about like why he's so indestructible. So like he's one of the robots from Halloween 3. And
Ah,
I'm like, that's kind of, I like that. I mean, sure, he's like an upgraded version because like the ones in Halloween 3 they get killed pretty easily, but
yeah.
it'd be cool if that was like, yeah, it was like, yeah. So it turns out it was all Michael's wearing a silver shamrock mask type thing.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy Halloween, silver, shimmer.
I will say
So
this:
revengeful.
Halloween as a movie kickstarted a franchise, but it is one of the most convoluted, most confusing franchises I have ever experienced. Because I've
I
seen all
mean,
the movies in the Halloween franchise, and it is just so confusing to get through because of the timeline changes, the reboots, the requels, the sequels to the reboots, the remake, and I'm just like,
the
stick to one
comedies.
story or
No.
don't at all. They just don't know what to do.
Yeah, at this point they're just
which
trying to milk
one,
it as much as they can.
which I do want to make like a series one day of like the Halloween timeline, so like break them down because there's like three separate timelines I think.
Oh damn.
It's the Michael Myers multiverse of madness.
Oof. Yeah. We don't stand that I don't know. I mean we might as well, but then again,
At some point, I mean, I don't mean like right now or like next episode or something. Like,
obviously
it's something that I need to like sit down and
obviously
like legit rewatch the movies and like plan them out and all that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, the original is a very simple premise. It's literally like kid kills sister, kid gets locked up, escapes 15 years later, goes back to his house and then just kills. That's literally the entire plot of Halloween.
basically because we are not original.
I mean, that's why, and not well. You don't have to have like a convoluted like origin or anything. It's just he just snapped. He just turned evil, and that's it. That's all you really need to know about Michael Myers. He's basically an animal. He's not even a human at this point.
Yeah.
He's like a
That
shark.
we a shark?
What?
We a shark?
We a shark? What's we a shark?
Yeah, you said something about a shark.
Oh, so he's like a shark at this point.
We
Like
is a
he just
shark.
singularly just like follows this path of like I'm just gonna kill everything that gets in my way.
I like can smell it's all about that menstrual blood for Lori.
Jesus.
Like, see, it's like Lori, I know you're on your time of month.
I gotta go.
What?
I gotta
You're
go.
there you go. Bye.
See ya.
Anyway, so
Thanks for listening, guys.
basically
Stay spooky. I'll see you in the next episode.
anyway, bye. Okay. Totally going insane. But
Ah,
anyway. But yeah.
so, I mean, I can't really keep describing Halloween
Because it's
because
literally it's
otherwise I'll just keep repeating myself.
repetitive.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep repeating myself over and over again too. But in terms of what I like about this movie, I really like the atmosphere of it. In terms of how it tends to ratchet up tension even in like just the simplest moments, especially because they don't just focus on Laurie 24/7. They do focus on Michael every once in a while of like, hey, just so you know, he's been following you around literally all day. And like the fact that he's a constant presence throughout the entire film, like he doesn't just disappear, like you can tell that he's constantly somewhere nearby. But you don't know exactly where. You just know he's
Yeah.
close. Like that
He's
to me is
always
very,
breathing
very
down your
creepy.
neck. Like,
Like that to me is really creepy. Um, and then I think not only in the writing but in the filmmaking aspect, they did a really good job of definitely bringing that atmosphere out. And making sure that you know that he's dangerous without being explicitly bloody or gory, because this movie doesn't really have a lot of blood and gore.
Yeah.
Like the most violent kill in the movie is when Bob gets stabbed against the pantry door, and he's just
Yeah.
hanging there. But there's no blood. There's no gore. It's just him. It's just him laying or hung up there. That's it.
And then the rest of the movie is just stab, 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 stabby, stab,
Yeah,
stab.
and
So
and just a lot of
I
that,
wonder, huh?
and a lot of breathing noises.
Yeah. But, but yeah, the fact that the things that I like about this movie, like you said, it is the atmosphere, but the fact that it is set in Halloween time and we get even though we're not physically there, then again, with fucking live in Florida, we can only imagine, right? That there is like the very eerie atmosphere with like the cold weather, and you can tell that it's like during like the most it's just the lighting. The lighting is what brings it all together, because even though like Halloween is supposed to be like, all the dark, cold night, but the fact that you can actually tell that it is dark, there's something like sinister in the air, and it's Michael, and especially with all the dramatic lighting and the fact that, through every kill and every stalking, we always see some kind of silhouette of him before we
Yeah,
go the but
and not
it's
even that too. It does a good job of making you feel uneasy even during the daytime.
yeah.
Like when he's just driving around and just like staring at Lori through the hedges. Like just that, it's pure, broad daylight, where you think you're safe, but you're really not. Anything could
Yeah.
still happen. Like it really gives you that sense of danger no matter where
Yeah.
you go.
Yes. But they also do like the whole laundry scene too.
We got,
Pretty
we got
pretty
we got to talk
good.
about the laundry scene because I think it's like the funniest, stupidest thing. But anyway, before we get to that, I one of the other things that I think is a really good aspect of it is the characters. Like outside
Yeah.
of Lori, her friends specifically, they feel like real teenagers. Like they feel like real people. They don't just feel like cardboard cutouts of like, yeah, that's the sluts. Yeah, that's the stoner. Like it's not like your typical slasher. Like they're just high school girls. And high school girls do high school
Yeah,
girl
and you
things
kind
like
of
smoke weed, they
genuinely
drive
like feel
around, they
bad.
play like mess around with their boyfriends. So you feel like more of a connection to them because they're like, oh, they're high schoolers just like me. They do the same things I do or the same things I did.
Yeah. It's just like the fact that I don't know, the characters are also very relatable, and even like the babysitter, even though she's supposed to be like the slut, like you kind of feel a little bit sympathetic. I'm like, she didn't know any better, and the fact that everything just
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the stereotype where she just has to wear like the white shirt,
With like no
like with,
pants.
with no pants and all. I'm like, yep, there it is. That's one way to lure a serial killer into your home. But but at the same time, they're just trying to relax and like have a good Halloween and
Yeah.
try to do their job. But in the end, they kind of
Good
just
old
get the
Michael decides
short
to
end
step
of the
in.
knife.
Ah.
Ah.
um, and then when it comes to, I mean, there's so many as well in terms of the scenes. Like, there's so many iconic scenes in the film.
Yeah.
Like the hedge scene, like when he's staring at Lori, like just like his head is poking through the hedges. And then when they go to look, he's not there anymore. Like, that's really creepy. Even the opening scene with the whole first person shot of Michael killing his sister, it's all a first person like POV shot, which is really, advanced for the time. Because, I mean, they had done it in something like Black Christmas, but not to the length and extent that they did it in this Halloween.
Right.
But talking about the laundry thing, I will never understand that scene because, sure, you see Lori looking out the window and Michael's just right there staring up at her. They cut back to Lori still staring at him. They cut back to where Michael is and he's just gone. And I'm like, did she just see him just walk away? Or did he just poof? Where did he go?
We're the third person going.
The fuck? Yeah,
Oh,
we're doing the John Travolta gif of him just going like from Pulp Fiction, just going, "What the fuck? Huh?"
yeah. What's going on?
Like I love that video. I don't know if you've seen it of like that scene, but like they keep cutting back to Laurie and then they cut back and Michael's just doing some random stuff. Like one of them is like really
No.
funny because like one of them is just Michael like hanging up laundry, or the other one's like him raking leaves. The other one's like him inviting Jason or like playing cards or whatever. Like,
Oh my
and they
gosh.
just like they would just keep cutting back to Laurie and then back to Michael doing some other ridiculous thing.
No, I haven't. You
Oh
need to
my god,
send
I
it
gotta
to
find it
me.
and send it to you. It's really funny.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I think like for me, probably my I wouldn't even say it's like a scene per se. It's more of like a specific moment in the movie, and it's like the one that always just freaks me out. It's
Yeah.
right after Lori goes to the neighbor's house and finds the bodies, and she's just standing there next to this dark doorway, like the door's open, and slowly the light dims on, and all you see is like half of Michael's mask as he like just appears, and you're like, that is fucking terrifying, man. Because he's just
Gives you a
like,
little bit of goosebumps.
it gives me the goosies, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I thought a lot of things gave you goosies, but okay.
But I mean, like, like when watching that specific movie, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like I'm watching it. I watch it now. I've seen that movie so many times, and I watch it. I'm like, oh, it's a great movie. But that scene specifically still like jumps out, where I'm just like, that is just so well executed. The lighting is perfectly done, and just like the face looks perfect, and you're like, that's it's just terrifying to me.
yeah, it is.
Because he just appears, and I love that they reference that in Halloween 2018, but the other way around, where it's Laurie that kind of appears out of the shadows.
Yeah,
What about you, though? What are some of your favorite scenes?
a lot of them. Y'all.
Specifics. I love the specifics.
Specifics. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie.
You didn't watch the movie,
But
did you?
no, I didn't. I mean, I did. I know the movie. I have seen it a lot of times, but it just escapes me. It escapes me. Like I was watching it at work actually, and then I got interrupted, and then I got distracted with Game of Thrones. Buddy. Game of Thrones, is like but yeah, but
Targaryen's
like I
gonna
said,
Targaryen.
and oh my gosh, quiet. Anyways, but it's just like, I really do like, especially like the beginning like scenes, like you said, there's just a stalking during the day, and like you see like Lori like walking down like the sidewalk, and she's with her friends, and then all of a sudden like she feels like someone staring at her, and then like the friends are like, oh, like they think it's like some guy or secret admirer that's trying to get with her, and
Speed
she's like, no.
kills.
I was like, yo, like, and then she's like, yo, like, get a break, that kind of thing. But I do like the fact that I don't know how old Jamie Lee Curtis was in that movie, but I'm pretty sure she was old enough that she was not a high school age, but she definitely sold it as such.
When we get to the grave
So,
robbing facts, we'll get into that
alrighty.
because I put a little something in there for the grave robbing fact, so we'll
Yeah.
get to that.
Yeah, but I have seen the movie 1,000 times. It's just like I needed a refresher, and I've been working, so
You're
yeah,
good. You're
sorry.
good.
But I have been to the house like twice, and it's a magnificent
Oh,
house
the house is
in HHN. It's
great.
definitely an improvement from many years
Yeah.
and stuff. And yeah,
Um, we do have to talk about. I mean, we haven't even mentioned him, but we got to talk about Loomis,
yeah,
Doctor Loomis, the most insane doctor of all time. Like, if you look at the Halloween franchise, at least up until like I think it's like Halloween 5 or I think it's Halloween 6. If you look up to Halloween 6, you just see it's not even about Michael Myers anymore. It's just seeing the slow descent of Sam Loomis into absolute madness. Because he just goes more and more unhinged in each movie as they go on.
and gotta bring out the
Because
Loomis and the
like,
Looney.
the first one is just like, hey, like this man is evil. I tried for 8 years to like get through to him, but then I spent like the next 7 years trying to keep him locked up because I know that there's nothing but pure evil behind this guy's eyes. And like he's very calm and collected, and like he's like, all right, I'm gonna pulls out the 6-shooter. He's like, let's do this. But then, as soon as Halloween 2 starts, the first line's, I shot him 6 times! I shot him 6 times!
6 is the magic number.
And then
I saw it.
Halloween 4, he's just packing immediately. He's like about to start shooting left and right. He's gonna kill a kid at the end of Halloween 4. Halloween 5, he makes up with the kid, but like freaks out when like he hears about like the connection that she has with Michael. He's like, "What did you hear? What do you know?" And just like seeing this poor man just descend into madness is like the funniest thing to me. Like every movie, he just gets more and more like out there.
Yeah.
But in this
But
one, he's
like,
very much like, like straight laced, like, doctor, I'm here to stop my crazy patient. I have my gun because I may have to kill him because there may be no other way to stop him. Like,
the one thing that I do like about Halloween, like even though with Lori and Loomis, and especially like the babysitter, even like the kids around the town, Michael is considered the boogeyman.
mm-hmm.
And then like the Halloween franchise, it's like one of those things where they know about the stories. There's rumors. There's like
Yeah,
like there's talks in the town about
mm-hmm.
it's like some boogeyman just committing murders
And again,
and
it's also
whatnot.
very relatable because every small town has like that one creepy house or that one creepy story.
Right.
So
And it just it circles all back that it's the uneasy feeling that this is a small neighborhood and this can be anywhere
mm-hmm. And it could
around
be anybody.
us. But
Yeah.
but not a lot of us live in small
I
towns.
personally have always enjoyed the fact that in the first film, in the credits, they don't ever call him the killer. They don't ever call him like Michael Myers. They just call him the Shape.
The
Like I've always
shape.
loved that name for him, just the Shape,
Imagine if you changed the name of Michael
the
Myers
Thing,
to like the shape. I was like, it's like, yes, his name is not Michael. It's like his name is not Michael. His name's Shape.
the Shape. It sounds more like a superhero name at that point,
It sounds like a drag name.
like a dragon name.
Drag
Oh, like a
name.
drag name.
You're like,
Michael the
I'm the
Shape
shape.
Myers. God, Jesus.
But yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like I said, I mean, Loomis is very much. He's very much your exposition dump in this film because I mean he doesn't really do a whole lot in the movie up until like right up until the end where he just shoots Michael.
Yeah.
Except for mess with some kids because it's fucking hilarious when he does that. When the kids are like, "Oh, I bet you won't go into the Myers house," and this one kid's like, "Oh, I got this, don't worry," and you just hear from behind the bushes going, "Lonnie, get your ass out of there!" And these poor kids go running, and I love the little smile on Donald Pleasance's face when he does that. Like he looks so happy and satisfied with himself.
You're like, yeah, scared these kids yet again.
And again, it's a very self-contained story. There isn't a whole lot of characters because you've got, I mean, you've got the nurse who only shows up in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. You've
Yeah.
got Michael, you've got the doctor, you've got the sheriff, and then you've got the girls and the kids. That's it. Like you don't need any other like ensemble cast.
I wonder, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the grave robbing back somewhere, right? But, it's how do the director and his girlfriend, how did they know Jamie Lee Curtis? How do we know of the legend, that is behind Jamie Lee Curtis and how she was cast for this
Well,
role? Because Halloween seems like kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street was a B movie. It
yeah.
was a budgeted movie, y'all.
I mean,
Like,
this
and
is an independent movie. The budget for this movie was like $300,000. That was all the whole budget that they had.
yeah,
But well, honestly, the reason they knew Jamie Lee Curtis was she before she did Halloween, she used to do TV. She was in a sitcom called, I think it was called like Crittering or Chittering Manor or something like that.
yeah.
And honestly, the only reason that John Carpenter chose her was specifically because she was Janet Leigh's daughter. Because he was such a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock, he wanted to pay tribute to Hitchcock and Psycho. So he's like, what better way to do that than to get Janet Leigh's daughter in this film?
Right.
So that's literally why she got cast in that film.
So now that we've talked about the fact that, you stated that this was the gateway for more serial killer movies,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, slashers, what have you. But as Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is somewhat self-contained, do you think Psycho does not count, or is it? Are you trying to count it within the era of slashers in the 80s?
Not well,
Because
no,
then
no,
at
not
that
necessarily.
point,
No, I still consider Psycho to be it's kind of considered to be like a prototype slasher, kind of like what set up the tropes of what a slasher could become. So
yeah,
you've got, the seemingly normal guy with deep-seated psychological problems.
right,
Um, Kind of the whodunit aspect at first of like, oh, is it the mom? Is it him? Type of thing. So like that's kind of where that came from. But then you have something like Texas Chainsaw where it took a similar concept of somebody with deep-seated psychological problems, but it like dialed the craziness up to 11 by making, him wear a mask, um, literally kill people with a chainsaw, that
yeah,
kind of thing. And not only that, it was so based. It's all based around Ed Gein still, because one of Psycho's biggest influences was Ed Gein, same as Texas Chainsaw. And then for Black Christmas, you have the same thing of somebody just a seemingly normal human being stalking and killing women.
repeat.
Yeah, because it's still rooted in reality at this point. It wasn't supernatural yet. It didn't reach the levels of the Cult of Thorn or of Zombie Jason or Nightmare Demon Freddy Krueger yet. It was still very much like people with psychological problems that just did the thing. Like they just did these things.
Yeah,
So that's why I
that makes
think
sense.
the thing with Halloween was it took the elements of Psycho and it took the elements of Texas Chainsaw and Black Christmas and combined them in such a way that it sort of popularized the tropes in a way
Yeah.
that people were like, oh, now I know exactly what I got to do to make a popular slasher. Make him wear a mask, make him kill teens, and that's really all you need. And put in lots of nudity, put in lots of sex, and put in lots of blood and gore.
Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. Wrong.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But yeah, now that we've kind of gone through, I guess, a lot of what is the meat and bones likes and dislikes,
I do
kind
have a
of,
couple of dislikes, and those are uh, but yeah, like I said, there's like very small, like gripey, nitpicky things that I don't like. Um,
like,
Logic wise, Michael got locked up at 6 years old. When did he learn how to drive? Because the man drove 150 miles to get back to Haddonfield, and you could tell that he was a pretty good driver. He followed stop signs. He followed the rules of the road. Somebody taught him to drive.
yeah, that's true. I mean, but like in a lot of movies, and the way I say a lot of people, there's like the stereotype of you gotta leave that room for like the disbelief,
Yeah,
the
like
element
suspension of
of
disbelief thing.
disbelief, but then there is the over the top element of disbelief. Like at 6 years old, yeah, he could have learned it from anybody, just watching and shit like that. But if we're talking about like a toddler, like,
Mhm.
come on now. Like I was like, where did this toddler learn to absorb this information? It's kind of like, when kids learn things from their parents and then they're just like they do it but they don't know what it means, like right from wrong kind of
Mhm.
thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, for me, it's just like he was just born evil, and it just came to a head when he was 6 and killed his sister after she had sex.
yep,
Which after having like the world's fastest sex, by the way, because like the POV is like from you're following Michael from outside, and you see the sister and her boyfriend go upstairs. By the time he makes it into the house, which is just like opening a door and walking in, the guy's already dressed up and going home, and I'm just like, dude, you
Damn.
fucking suck. Like, come on,
Like,
man. Wow.
he need that Viagra. They needed the opportunity to like promote Viagra on the side, just like
Should have been wearing like a Viagra shirt when he was like putting on his shirt. It's like a shirt with a Viagra logo on it.
Yeah. Are
Something really, really
you
dumb.
struggling with ED?
Oof.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
That's rough. But
But
yeah.
yeah, it's like little things like that. Like those little like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the laundry scene where she's staring at him and then he's just gone, and you don't question where he went. He's just disappeared, even though she's still looking at him. Like that kind of stuff. It's just like that's like a leap of logic that I like. You can't really excuse.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, he just walked away. I'm like, but she saw him walk away.
Yeah. I don't
Type
know.
of
She's
thing,
like, I want to stare at you until you move. Oh, look at that butterfly. Shit!
He's gone. Damn it.
Damn it.
Oh man. I will say I love rewatching it and like seeing little things here and there.
That you never
Like
noticed before.
yeah, like I never even noticed when Loomis is getting into his car from the hospital to like drive after Michael. I never noticed he parked in a handicapped spot, and I'm like, dude, that's such a dick move. You're not handicapped. He just
Yeah.
parked in a handicapped spot because he was closer to the
But
building.
to be fair, how many times do cops actually check?
And
Like,
it's I
I'm
don't it's
starting to
not even
really
that, but
question
like
that nowadays.
but it was just like really obvious because like you see the sign that says handicap parking only, and that's exactly where his car is parked.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Loomis, that is such a dick move. That's probably somebody's spot. Like, somebody needed that spot, and you just chilled in there.
Yeah.
There's that. Not to mention that Annie's dad, the sheriff, he's the worst sheriff. Like when they see him, they have just been smoking weed, and like they're still the joint is still in the car and it's still smoking. Like how does he not smell that?
Power perfume. I don't know.
It doesn't
There's
make
the
any
people that are
sense.
like, I love it when people like just smoke weed and they just try to cover up with perfume. I'm like, I can smell your weed with your perfume.
But then, like, when it comes to like something really cool that you notice is the movie that the kids are watching is The Thing, which John
Yeah.
Carpenter would go on to make like 4 or 5 years later, which I think is really funny. It's almost like
Funny.
he's hinting at his next movie or something, even though I don't think it was his next movie. I think he made like 2 other movies after this. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know
The,
his filmography off
but
the top of
what's
my head.
funny also is like, obviously, it's kind of related but not related. I watched Scream the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you see, it's kind of like you said, it's like that nod of the stereotypical horror slasher. Because in Scream, the movie that they're all watching at
It's
a
Halloween.
movie is Halloween. So
Yeah.
it's like, a little nod is like, hey, like, the beginning of things,
Mm-hmm.
stereotype of it all.
I've always loved that scene too when he's like
Mm.
when Randy's watching the movie and he's like he's right behind you, Lori, turn around. And that's exactly where Ghostface is, like right behind him. I've always loved that little parallel. It's one of my favorite scenes favorite scenes in like the entire franchise. Um and then the other cool thing too is, or not even cool, it's just funny. Michael just being clumsy sometimes. Like in this one section where he's just like staring at Annie. He's about to like make his move, to attack, and he knocks over a plant and breaks it, so then he just walks away. He's like, shit.
He's like, I fucked up.
Shit, I fucked that up. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Just kicking himself on the way out. Like, fuck. No, we gotta find another way in, damn it.
And now
Stupid
that she
idiot.
knows I'm coming in through this way.
So they're
Damn
like,
it,
fucking
Bobby.
stupid idiot. He's like Dobby. Bad Michael. Bad Michael.
Look.
And you know the whole thing about PJ Souls and Linda Vanderclark and her character, how she says totally all the time, right?
Yeah.
You know she says totally 11 times in this?
God.
11 times, and she only has like maybe 10, not even 10 minutes of screen time? Like almost every other word she says is totally.
Yeah. I mean, that was the lingo back in the 80s,
It's just
70s and
hilarious though. Like
80s. Yeah.
so many times.
Totally. Totally. Totally.
Totally,
Totally.
totally.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just funny.
Like, totally scary. Mhm.
Like the one scene when they walk into Annie's house and the lights are out, and she's like, "Oh," or and Bob's like, "Oh, maybe the power went out," and she's like, "Totally." He's like, "What do you mean, totally for what? The power went out. How's that a totally situation?"
Have a terrible habit of doing that shit. Like, I was like, I'll say something completely unrelated to the sentence that I like saying, and they're like, "What does that even mean?" I'm like, "Oh,
Don't worry about
like totally, totally."
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just like I said, it's just like all these like little things that you pick up on as you like when you watch a movie so many times.
and it's just it's like I said, the way that this feels like the neighborhood is small, but there is also like I don't know, with Halloween, there's just some things that I don't even know what the fuck I'm
It's
saying.
kind of hard to describe this
I'm
movie,
not,
honestly. It's like hard
yeah,
to like really pinpoint what it is that makes it so appealing. It just is.
yeah. It's just it's a simple little um like plot for a
Mm-hmm.
movie, and you know it does it well. So it's not it doesn't over communicate the topic. It's just as
Mm-hmm.
simple as
It's
have
just like
don't have
here it
sex. It's
is.
Halloween night. Here it is. You're about to die. Oh wait, I survive. I'm immortal. Oh, you want to survive? Great. Like we love that.
Yeah.
So,
But I think this is a good spot to like just take a break, go into some grave robbing facts, talk about a couple things about this movie behind the scenes wise, and then we'll go back to our regular discussion. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
hi everybody. We're back with our grave robbing facts, where basically we talk about all the fun facts that go into the behind the scenes of the movie, the haunt, or the TV show that we're covering. Anything that has to do with fandom, obviously, that we are covering. So today we'll be actually covering the Halloween 1978 grave robbing facts, everything that went through the making of this film, and other little, you know, little niche little details here and there
Yeah,
for you to understand what actually went into the production behind the scenes of
fun.
this
They're fun
movie.
little conversation starters.
Yeah. So I think I will go. Number one is that the original script titled The Babysitter Murders had the events take over the place of several days. It was a budgetary decision to have the script have everything happen on the same day. Doing this reduced the number of costume changes, location requirements, and it was decided that Halloween, the scariest night of the year, was the perfect night for this to happen.
Which I think it works a lot more to the movie's benefit to have it all happen on one day as opposed to like throughout 4 or 5 or like a week or something. Because like I feel like it
Yeah.
loses the potency of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas like in one night this guy killed 5 people type of thing, as
Yeah.
opposed to like in one week this guy killed 5 people. It's a little creepier to like say in one day he killed 5 people
Yeah.
and he almost killed a
Nobody would ever
sixth.
suspect it. Oh.
Yeah. And that's a weird name. Can you imagine them instead of Halloween calling this movie The Babysitter Murders?
That sounds like some like cold case file like
The
documentary.
Welcome back to Dateline in The Babysitter Murders.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm talking about like Babysitter Murders 3 Season of the Witch.
Oh no, stop.
Babysitter Murders. Baby. Sorry,
Oh,
no,
you really like that.
I'm just thinking about like all like the Halloween subtitles, but like instead of Halloween they just say the babysitter murders.
The
So
babies.
like instead of Halloween kills, it would be the babysitter murders kills.
Revenge of the Babysitter.
Revenge of the Revenge of Babysitter Murders.
The babysitter murders ends.
Oh my god. That's great.
Anyway.
The killer is just like a regular babysitter.
Oh no.
It's past your bedtime.
Stop. We're done.
Okay, we're done. Alright. Crib robbing fact numero dos. Of the female leads, because all the girls are supposed to be in high school, only Jamie Lee Curtis was actually a teenager at the time of shooting.
Damn,
everybody else was older.
I was wrong.
I mean, look at Annie. You can tell Annie's older. Like she does not. She's in high school. She looks older. She looks like she's 30.
I wonder if she was like the working age, or if she was just like, you know, in her minor. Because I'm like, that's
know.
I guess a lot of time of filming.
I'm assuming
if
she
you
would have
really
been like
think
18 or
about it.
19.
Yeah,
Because it's still
for
considered
sure.
a teenager because you're still in your teens. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
But for our third grave robbing fact is that the story is based on an experience John Carpenter had in college touring a psychiatric hospital. The Carpenter person, because apparently you can't just say John Carpenter, you have to say Carpenter because we're going by last names apparently. And then met the child who stared at him with an evil of look.
With
a
a
look
what?
of evil.
With an evil of look. With an evil
a
of
look
look.
of evil, and it terrified me. I mean, children are terrifying in general.
Children, yeah, that's why they're called. That's why you call them crotch goblins.
Yeah, I do.
Everybody knows the evilest kid of all time is James Westthorne.
Now look at that, bitch boy James.
Bitch boy James.
Miss boy James.
Bitch boy James, the Westthorne on my side. In my side.
Oh my god.
Constant Westthorne in my side. I'm sorry. Anyway.
I'm about to Westthorne your ass if you don't stop.
Number 4. John
Best be
Carpenter.
throwing that ass.
Oh my god. Stop. Number 4. John Carpenter approached Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee to play the role of Dr. Sam Loomis, which was eventually played by Donald Pleasance, but both turned him down due to the low pay, because I think they only paid him like $50,000 for 5 days of shooting. Yikes. Which is like nothing for an actor of his magnitude. Christopher Lee later went on to say it was the biggest mistake he had ever made in his career. Could you imagine Christopher Lee as Sam Loomis instead of Donald Pleasance?
Yeah, it would have been a fun time.
Fucking Saru, like, either Dracula, like Hammer Films Dracula, as Sam Loomis, or not even that, Peter Cushing, the guy from, I think he was Van Helsing in the Hammer Films.
Yeah.
He was also in Star Wars. They were both in Star Wars.
I mean, they can't regret it that much, but how much money would they actually be losing?
Well, for the Christopher Lee, it wouldn't even be
like in Star Wars, and then in Halloween, it's I would have been rich. I would have had a whole mansion on the moon.
Well, for Christopher Lee, I think he was just it wasn't because of the money. I'm I should have taken it because then I would have been the famous Sam Loomis. As well as the famous, Dracula, as well as the famous Saruman, as well as the famous Count Dooku. Just another thing to add to Christopher Lee's already impressive resume.
Yeah, for sure.
Jesus.
But we are going to go to fun fact number 5. Deborah Hill, who wrote most of the dialogue for the female characters, while John Carpenter concentrated on Dr. Loomis's speeches. Wow, what a collab!
Which probably which explains why the the female, the teens, when they speak, they sound like real teenagers, because it was written by a woman, and it was written by somebody that knew what they sounded like, what they were supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. He's probably one of my favorite ones.
But then who concentrated on Michael's, ching ching, bada bing, bada boom kind of thing.
Mr. What are you, Pitbull? Mr. Wah, bada bing, bada boom.
No,
coming at you with the Michael Myers, bada bing, bada boom.
Just the mannerisms of, Michael Myers, did they just say, just go act creepy with a knife and
Oh,
girls on the set for 5 days? They're like, and then the actor's like, sounds good to me.
so if I didn't put that on here just because I wanted to just keep it to 10, but I could have. This movie had a bunch of stuff that I could put on there. But no, when the guy Nick Castle, the guy that played Michael Myers, asked him, he's like, like, what do you want me to do direction wise? So he was like, your job is to walk from here to here. That's the only direction that John Carpenter gave him.
Damn.
So he was like, I guess I'll improvise it. Hey,
Nice.
it worked out. They made him creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, our next grave robbing fact, number 6. All of the press a button here. Okay. All of the actors wore their own clothes, since there was no money for a costume department. That's how you know this was a budget movie. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis went to JCPenney for Laurie Strode's wardrobe. She spent less than $100 for the entire set. She shot the film while on hiatus from the sitcom Operation Petticoat. That's what the name of the sitcom was. So she just went to JCPenney and she was like, oh, this looks cool. I'm Laurie now.
Yeah, these costumes look good, I guess. That's interesting. That's kind of cute. I love that. I love that. Give the character or the actor a little bit more control of their character.
Yeah, like they gives them input onto like this character would look like that,
Yeah. But our 7th grade robbing fact is that John Carpenter showed Halloween to an executive before it was finished. He showed the movie without music. The executive didn't find it scary at all. After the film was released, she saw it and she changed her mind, an indication of how much Carpenter's score adds to the film's atmosphere.
And it's true. I love John. I love John Carpenter's music scores, period. But Halloween is incredible.
Yeah.
Again, it's also
silent,
really,
but also the fact that it's like the really intense like slasher synth like atmosphere that it creates.
Yeah, not to mention too, it's like I said, it's just very simple. Like, there's only like 4, maybe 5 different tracks because you got like the original theme, you've got the the ding ding boom, ding ding boom, like that.
Yeah.
And then I think my favorite one is like the chase song, which is just like ding, 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 and like that's it. And it's so tense because of that. Just that. Yeah, it's just like super simple music, but
yeah.
But it's just so effective. Like, I think I just love the Halloween soundtrack and score so fucking much. It's not even funny. But our 8th grave robbing fact: the scene where the shape seems to appear out of the darkness behind Laurie was accomplished by using a simple dimmer switch on the light that slowly illuminated the mask. Director of photography Dean Cundy likened it to eyes getting adjusted to the dark. Which again is like just a perfect effect. It's because they just slightly switch the dimmer and it just appears and you're like, oof, that creepy scene.
A little nice creepy little element there.
Yeah.
So, our 9th grade robbing fact is that inside of Laurie Strode's bedroom, there is a poster painting by James Esner. Esner was a Belgian expressionist painter who used to portray human figures wearing grotesque masks. That's fitting.
Yeah,
that's very
which
fitting.
I think it's really interesting. Now I'm interested in looking up some of Esner's artwork just to see how disturbing or grotesque it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider Michael Myers mask like that, but I'm guessing there could be like a level of that.
Mm-hmm. But just like the fact that it's somebody who wears masks and that kind of stuff, that's cool. It's creepy. And then our last grave robbing fact: as the film was made in spring, the crew had huge difficulty in procuring pumpkins. Only 3 were obtained, so the scene where one is broken on the ground had to be done in one take. The crew later got another type of green pumpkin, which was simply painted orange.
That's nice.
There were no pumpkins, and there were like 3 pumpkins. That's it.
Yeah.
And the movie set in Halloween, like during Halloween. That's it. That's all you get.
At least they had nice. That's like nice weather.
Listen, no, what you got to do is you got to give major props to whoever painted those green pumpkins orange.
Yeah,
they made them look good.
They did a good job. Yeah.
They made that shit look good.
Delicious.
But anyway, that's really all we had for grave robbing facts. These were cool. Some of these I already kind of knew. It's just like I said, I've just seen this movie so many times, and I've looked up so much behind the scenes stuff on it because I'm always so interested in how they managed to make such a great movie on such a low budget, and because it is inflation wise considered one of the most successful independent films of all time.
Oh yeah,
because it was made on a $300,000 budget, and it made $47 million.
oof.
God damn.
We out here.
We
doing
John
things.
Carpenter was like, "We out here. I turned $300,000 into $47 million, and you can do it too
It's like if I can do it, you can do it
with Myers crypto."
Friendship. Yikes.
Yeesh. John Carpenter's now crypto man. Jeez, never mind. That's an insult to John Carpenter.
No, don't do that.
Anyway, but yep, that's the end of our grave robbing fact. So let's dial it back, and I'll bring you back to our regularly scheduled programming. And we are back from our grave robbing facts, continuing our discussion on Halloween. So we talked about things we liked, things we didn't love, favorite scenes, favorite things about the film itself. Now we're going to talk about our favorite kills. Because, what horror movie... no horror movie is without its fair share of good kills. So,
Absolutely.
and this movie actually doesn't have a whole lot of kills. I think it has, 4?
Yeah.
Right? 4? Yeah, 4.
Or being
5.
something that has to do with this.
Technically, I'm gonna say 6. Because you have Judith, Michael's sister. You have the mechanic that he kills for the jumpsuit. Even though it's never really shown that he's killed, he's just shown his body. We have the dog that he killed that he ate. When they go to the abandoned house, when Loomis and the sheriff go to the house, they find it. And then you have Annie, Bob, and Linda. So I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah.
We'll count those. Still, it's a low count.
Very low count.
Yeah.
That's a very low body count.
It got. Don't worry, Michael made it progressively better later on.
Oh God.
Just the Halloween kill scene at the end is 7 people.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, but I think my favorite kill from this one is it's kind of a toss up between Bob and Annie. I think I'm gonna have to go with Annie because the fact that it's happens in a place where you think you're safe inside your own car is really creepy.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just prolonged, because he's choking her out for quite a bit before he actually takes the knife and stabs her, or slits her throat. So it's really uncomfortable for her because you're like, Jesus, is she gonna make it out?
Yeah, it's just the fact that how can you get locked into your own car? But like you said, it's like the one place that we all feel safe,
Yeah.
and
And
then as I was telling you stuff, what's crazy is that I wonder if this is what started that trend of, having someone from the back in every horror film being choked back, being choked and
wow. Someone taking it from the back and being choked out. Jesus, Vania. What kind of horror movies are you watching?
Too many X videos. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
What, you haven't seen Halloween Bones?
Halloween Bones. Love it. But yeah, it's just where you think you're safe in the car, some guy chokes you or whatever, some killer and all that stuff, and then you're just gasping for air, and then your throat is slit, and then I wonder if that's where it started or if it started somewhere else, but
No
it's
idea. But I will say, I think another thing that really pushes it over the top for me is the aftermath of that murder. Because when Lori discovers the body, Annie's just the one that's laying in the bed with her arms spread open, and then Judith's headstone on top of her.
Oh,
And that is such an iconic scene too. That visual is just so weird and creepy.
yeah.
How he just legit took off the headstone. You didn't. You only moved the headstones, you son of a bitch.
I think for me, the my favorite kill would have to be the one where Judith dies because like it's just the fact that it was done like with a first person
Hmm.
view of Michael as a kid because it's like one of those things is like it's like thinking about the psychological things of a serial killer or
Hmm.
whatever of the slasher. It's like as a kid, they start off young.
Yeah.
Like and then the fact that you're killing your own family member it's like the icing on the cake,
Hmm.
like what drives someone to do that, and then that just kind of shows how disturbing Michael's mind and how it works, kind of thing. Because this is just the beginning of the many evils that he will be throughout the years, especially throughout the franchise.
Yeah.
So gotta start him young, and as we progress through, the just many of the kills that happen throughout the franchise. So
Hmm. Yeah, I mean
and
that's such a crazy way to introduce just the film itself.
yeah.
It's
It was
insane.
like, "Wow, you killed your own sister. What drove you to that?" I was like, "She had." So I'm like, "What?" She
What?
was getting some and I wasn't. It's like some shit like that.
Jeez.
Like Kathy at school didn't want to bone me, and my sister got some. I don't know, some
Didn't
shit
want
like
didn't want to bone me even though I was 6 years old.
I don't know. Hormones be kicking in at some point.
Jesus. Anyway,
Your
I would say like the only kill that I didn't really find, at least like from like the more explicit ones, the only one that isn't great is Linda's, because he's
okay,
just choked out with a telephone cord. It's not like I don't find it as
creative.
creepy. It's just very much like I don't know. It's just like not as interesting as the other kills are, I guess.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like
fair.
Bob's is really interesting because of the way he's literally hoisted up and just stays there. And then you got the infamous Michael like head tilt where he's just like looking at the body and like tilting his head to the sides, almost like he's admiring what he did. And he's like, "Huh, it looks good. Yeah, I did art.
Yeah,
It's good to
this
take
is
some me time.
our-
It's good to enjoy the little things."
yeah. I like this knife. Needed that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in terms of the kills, like for
There
me,
wasn't a
it's
whole lot, but but you can try and dissect them as you will.
yeah. I would say the kills themselves aren't, you know, like hardcore or explicit or bloody or gory, but it's just everything that leads up to the kills and then the aftermath of those kills is what's important, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, in terms of like final thoughts, though, because I mean, there really isn't a whole much else we can really discuss about this movie that hasn't been already been talked about to death by anybody else. I
Yeah.
like I said, it's just it's a movie that I constantly enjoy watching. Like I never get bored. Like whether it's on
Yeah.
TV, I'll put it on, or if I'm like just really in the mood, I'll be like, I'm gonna watch Halloween right now. Because it's not, it's not like something where you have to like pay super close attention to it, or you'll like lose part of the plot or anything. It's like really simple plot. It's really easy to keep along with everything. It's really fun to watch with friends, and it's just like it still holds up to this day as to like how impressive it is based on how little money they had to work with and how
Yeah.
effective they were in like in terms of camera work and lighting and all that kind of stuff.
It's just the fact that it also feels, I don't know, like especially since it's like set in like the late 70s, and does make it seem a little bit of a more modern take. Like it was a little bit ahead of its modern time. Like it felt this movie was done in 1978, but if you were to show this movie to anybody that didn't know any better, this felt way ahead of its time. It felt more 80s rather than 70s.
Hmm.
So it's definitely like, it wants to take you to that present time that this can happen at any point in time,
Yeah.
and then progresses after the fact that, you have the movie Halloween, which is supposed to be a direct sequel to after all the shebang happens. And then there's Halloween Kills. And then now there's Halloween Ends, where we're still continuing Laurie Strode's story. And, she has her own offspring and stuff like that. The whole
Mm-hmm.
town is mad, that kind of thing. But I'm not going to spoil the entire movie if you haven't seen the new movie. But, keep in mind, I think this year Halloween and the ends is coming out.
Yeah,
So
it comes out in October.
yeah. So
Um, I will say this: I love the ending of this movie. The way that Loomis shoots Michael, he falls off the balcony. When he goes to look, he's not there anymore,
yeah.
and Laurie just says it was the boogeyman, and Loomis says, "Well, as a matter of fact, yes, it was." And just like the final shots of that movie are just so unsettling because it's literally all of the environments that you've seen throughout the entire movie. Because it's all literally they just took establishing shots and then just put them in the end of the film, and then they put in the sound of Michael's breathing.
Oh damn.
So it's just like
It's a will
he's
rewatch it
he's
again.
everywhere.
What?
So it like signifies that like his body's gone, so he's still anywhere. He could be in there, he could be in this room, he could be in that house, he could be anywhere right now, and he's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And like that's just so creepy how they have that breathing in the background while they're showing you all these houses and all these indoor locations.
Yeah.
Because this one thing we know is that Michael knows how to hide. He's hide and seek master since 1978.
Established in 1930. But in concerns of that, if you guys haven't been through the HHN house, um, all I gotta say, I don't know if you haven't been through the house. I don't know if we should talk about it with spoilers and no spoilers. Just this very much feels so. In the past, Howling Hornets has done Halloween houses, but nothing like this before. I really felt like I stepped into the film, and the
Yeah.
fact that we get to relive and be in Michael's room for the Judith kill. We get to see him go through the laundry scene and whatnot. It's funny because the last time I went to Howling Hornets and I went through that house, my friend was in front of me and
Mhm.
he went into one of the boo holes
Oh
where Michael
no.
was in. And then I was following him and Michael broke character and literally said, "What are you doing? It's that way." And I tried to proceed because I wasn't thinking he was talking to me. So then he's like, "No." And he did a little shove to me. I don't like being shoved, but whatever. He was trying to, obviously, it's for my safety, whatever. I get it. That he's like, "Oh, it's that way." I'm like, "Oh shit, like I've been going the wrong way." So people have been trying to go through the boo holes because my friend went in, but nobody caught him kind of thing. So yeah, so that laundry scene, make sure that you know where you're going kind of thing. Because
It's
it's a little
a little disorienting. Really, I
disorienting.
didn't have that issue at all. That's
Yeah, the
funny.
first time I didn't have that issue, but this time
Just got to you,
because
I guess.
it just got to us, I guess. But then, like, you go through the house and then you see Michael at the beginning of the stairway and you think that's an actual actor. But then, like, you turn and like he's everywhere. Like you said, he's everywhere but nowhere
hmm
at the same time. This house was a perfect personification of that. We see Lori, we see the other characters, but mostly Michael
Yeah.
throughout the house. So you see a lot of the iconic scenes.
Oh yeah. In terms of making you feel immersed in the experience, this is the best version of Halloween you've ever gotten. Whether it's Halloween, Halloween 2, or Halloween 4.
Yeah.
Because it definitely like the lighting is perfect. It definitely feels like when you're in the exterior scenes, you are outside. The interior locations are like perfectly spot on. That Michael at the top of the stairs is terrifying. Even though I was like, I couldn't tell if it was a mannequin at first or not until I was like, and I like looked at it at the right angle. I was like, okay, yeah, it's fake. But I was like, that
Yeah.
is like a really good like placement because like the shadow, the backlighting on it is so good. It looks like a real person.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like capturing the not just the locations and the look of everything, but like the atmosphere of everything is perfect. Like you really do feel like you stepped into the world of Halloween. And yeah, the Michaels this year, dude, they don't mess around, man. The Michaels
They're
this year are
very
aggressive.
aggressive.
Michael this year is aggressive as fuck.
Yeah, they're really trying to
They will get
sell.
up close and personal with you.
Yeah, they have no mercy, but
No, they
it's
don't.
fun. I love it this year.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, like I can't wait to go again and then walk through that house again. I've only been able to
me,
walk it once this year. I need to walk it again, maybe at least two more times.
yeah, because he got the virtue fear.
Whatever. Hey, I paid the same price I did last year, and I still got an extra weekend. Because last year it was just the first 3 weekends, now I got the first 4 weekends. The same price.
Wow.
And I got
Wow.
Saturdays.
Must be
It
nice.
was nice.
Well, I guess we can't go in
Yeah. I
October.
got to do a good amount. October is a shit show from what I've heard.
Yeah, I know it's a shit show,
So then
but
why am I going
like
to waste
you
money
still
on a
get
shit
to,
show?
yeah, but you still get to enjoy Halloweeny stuff. I'm like, hey, I want to do something Halloweeny.
I
Oh,
can
there's
enjoy my
nothing going
Halloween
on.
stuff
I'll
right
go
here.
to Halloween Horror
Like I
Night.
got a whole stack of Blu-rays I still haven't gotten through yet. That'll be my Halloween spooky stuff to do. I have to get through a bunch of horror movies that I haven't seen yet. Have my own
You
little
say.
movie marathons.
Anyways,
But ranking wise, this movie out of 10, what would you give it?
7 out of 10.
7.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean that's
interesting.
pretty hot. It's a 7 out of 10
Okay.
because it's not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely a comfort film. As you guys I have to rewatch it and relive, a lot of the scenes. I have seen it a bunch of times. Is that when you've seen it a bunch of times and you only see it during a certain time of year, you kind of forget how the movie goes until you're like, okay, I
Mm.
remember. It was a little bit of a refresher, but Halloween is definitely like a comfort film. It's something that, you pop in when you're about to get cozy with a loved one, or if you're gonna hang out with friends at a Halloween party. It's one of those things that's like the classic, you can't miss it
Yeah.
kind of thing. And it's the only thing is that I only rated out of that. It's because of its crazy popularity, but at the same time, especially now, the skyrocketing popularity because of the franchise
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, and mainstream stuff can be but it's not talked about enough because now that everybody's concentrating on the newer stuff, this kind of gives them the leeway to come back to the classics and or everything started and how something everything will potentially end. So
Yeah, I would give this one a 9 out of 10, honestly. For me it's an almost perfect movie.
that's
Outside of
fair.
outside of my little nitpicky things, it's still like a really good movie in terms of its writing, in terms of the technical aspects, camera work, sound design is really good. The lighting is terrific, and
Yeah, the lighting
yeah,
is
for me it still holds up. It's still really creepy. It's still scary.
yeah.
For a movie that's over 40 years old, it still holds up. Still going strong. Good old Mikey Myers.
Mickey Myers doing the most.
But I think that's really all we have for this episode. I mean,
Yeah,
this was fun. I've been wanting to talk about Halloween for pretty much since we started this podcast.
yeah, and now we actually got around to it.
Finally did it. Took us
Yeah,
took us 52 episodes to get there.
but we're
Whoops.
here.
We made it. But yeah,
No, I'm sure there'll be many more.
oh yeah. Like I said, I want to do a whole thing on the Halloween timelines at some point or another. I think that's going to be really fun. Um but before we leave you for the night, we do have our little housekeeping here to do. So Vanya, if you'd like to start us off and tell us where you can be found.
So you guys can find me under AJGen Cultus, whether it be YouTube or on Twitter. I'm usually posting some shit posting HHN stuff on Twitter, but I'm also like, updating throughout the day if I see anything new in the park, especially now that it is Halloween Horror Nights season. I will be in the park as much as I can and hopefully dropping more videos very soon. Um, just been busy with life and whatnot, but but spooky season is ramping up for me. It's one of my um I guess, busier season, so I will be doing other haunt stuff as well. But I also have a YouTube channel that I talk about anything from horror. I vlog in the park, especially when it has to do with Universal or HHN related haunts, what have you. So there's plenty of stuff for you to check out with me. And if not, if you just want to chat, I'm here. I'm on social media. I'm all open. I'm all ears. I'm down for a good new spooky friend kind of thing. But not trying to place Yusef or anything, but there's other interesting people on this podcast, I think. But Yusef, where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on my Twitter at itbeyusef, and on my Instagram at Yusef1220. It's pretty much all the only socials that I kind of use, mostly Twitter. But then for our podcast, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sounds from the Grave. And then our podcast itself is on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. And we also have our YouTube channel, Sounds from the Grave. Gonna have a video coming out soon, I think, because I know we've got something in the pipeline for next week that we're gonna be a part of that we'll probably get a vlog out of, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's gonna be fun. We don't want to reveal too much yet because we wanted to keep it on the down low for right now. But as we get closer to it, we'll reveal some more information on that. And we also have our email, soundsfromthegravepodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, we also have our TeePublic. We finally have some merch out. We have a couple of shirts there and some stickers that you guys can buy if you want to rep us. It would be really cool. And if you do buy it from us, we'd love for you to take a picture and tag us in it so we can see support, because we really appreciate you guys for that.
It's it has our thing. It says Sounds from the Grave, and it's gradient with green and purple. And we also have the traditional things that we usually say our goodbye tos, and it's stay spooky, and it's in a death metal font.
Hell
And
yeah.
other cool things that, if you guys just want to give us a little support, much appreciated, much
Yeah.
obliged, that kind of thing.
But again, thank you to everybody who listens. You guys are the best. We hope you have a good day or good night whenever you're listening to this, and that you stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.